So I started reading The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Souljah. I am having fun reading this. I have not written too many notes down about it. I feel like I should, but at the same time, I'm being super. I'm not even sure what notes to write down right now. All I know is just like I'm just getting wrapped up and immersed in reading this. So I'm about to get off the cuff. I'm kind of like remembering it, reminiscing on like I'm seeing a lot of where other people whose reviews and comments and thoughts on this book, I'm kind of seeing some of the way I'm kind of understanding what they thought about it now compared to what I thought about it when I was like in my teens reading it for the first time. Because for me, like in my teens when I read Winter's voice, I was just like, I kind of admired Winter because Winter was just like, she went out, she did what she wanted to do. She had like, I'm gonna tell you, Winter had so much agency. That's one thing I'm reading, I'm realizing that I kind of knew back then, but I understand even more now that Winter had so much agency as a character. Although she looked up to her father and she listened to what he had to say and she did what he had to say, she had so much agency. She was just like, I want to do what I want to do. I know who I am. I can't nobody just tell me what, like, the only person who could probably do that is like my daddy, and even him I'm not really even listening to like that. Like, if I want to go get this dick, I'm gonna go get this dick. If I want to go party with my girls, I'm gonna go party with my girls. You're gonna feel how you want to feel and do what you want to do, but I'm gonna do what I want to do, and you're gonna deal with it. Like, I just loved her for that. She was just such a boss ass. But at times she said some shit and I'd just be looking at her like, girl, what the fuck is wrong with you? What are you talking about? Winter's a key though. Winter is a key. Winter is hilarious because she would just say some wild shit. But the thing that was the wildest was when she was talking about like, this is like Sister Souljah was saying something on the radio and she was like, I don't know what Sister Souljah got against drug dealers. Like, it's not drug dealers' fault why people are on drugs. I just like, wait for this girl. She is, like, I was laughing because, like, this girl is nuts. Like, she's a 16-year-old nut, but at the same time, she's also kind of admirable. That's the thing I saw in reading Winter. She's a complex and she's just a very developed character. Whereas like there are things you'll admire in her, like her agency and her willingness to be like, I'm gonna do what like she's going and doing stuff and she's making things happen for herself. She's going for it and saying like, oh, okay, and she's making moves and she's thinking and she's doing and she's making things happen. But then also she has moments where you're kind of like, what are you saying? This is dumb. You are dumb. You're dumb. You're a dummy. That's why, and that's something that I've heard from people who read it, and they were like, I kind of hated Winter because Winter's she's dumb. She's stupid. She's a stupid girl. And when I read it at the time, I was just like, I didn't think she was dumb. I thought she was pretty cool. But now I'm kind of like, I still think she's pretty cool, but I also think she's kind of like, girl, you're a dummy though. Like, she was doing some stuff, and I was just like, what, huh? Like, girl, listen to your daddy, listen to your mama. What are you doing? I am having a lot of laughs with this story. I'm having a lot of very thought-provoking moments. The story's it's pretty fast-paced. For me, like, the first chapter is like a lot of setting up who Winter is, who her family is, what her world is like. And she is just very true to life of who a lot of like young black girls in New York are kind of like. She's very true to that, where it's like, especially in Brooklyn and stuff like that, we're just like, they're just so bangy and so like hood and so like just that girl. Like, they're just like so man Brooklyn, man, like I just love this book. It's so good. It's so good and it's so real. Like, and that's the thing, it's also giving me a little bit of the Hate U Give vibes. But the Hate U Give also kind of gave me these vibes when I initially read it, but the Hate U Give is a little tamer. Although it's like it's dealing with a heavy subject matter, it's a lot tamer than this book. This book is like raw. Winter's out here just telling you like, yo, like I wanted that nigga, I wanted his dick, I wanted that. Like, she's keeping it so real, almost like too real. And the weird thing is, this book could almost be like a YA coming of age kind of novel. It's just that it has a lot of very adult themes. It's a lot of themes going on from like a black woman's coming of age in a very city urban setting. And when it comes to urban, for me, Personally, my idea of what urban is, I go by the dictionary definition and not by that colloquial definition that they basically label black people with, where it's just like, you're urban, so you're black. And it's just like, but that doesn't make a lot of sense because urban is like the city. And as much as there are a lot of black people in urban settings, it's also like, if I read a story about urban, like, I expect an urban setting, I don't just expect it to be black people. So the idea that, because that's why it was just kind of weird, because it's like, if you're gonna call something an urban fantasy, but most of the characters are likely in, for instance, from my understanding, the Shadowhunter series is like an urban fantasy, but most of the characters are white. So how do we label that urban fantasy if there aren't black people, but you say urban is black? Why does this all logically make sense in the greater world, but like, why does that make sense? But in urban fantasy, it's urban fantasy because it's set in the city. But when it comes to black people and you say call it urban fiction, it's like urban because black people are in it, which doesn't make sense. Just say it's fiction with black people in it. Just say that. It makes more sense. So technically, I would call it, technically this would be urban fiction, but it would be urban fiction because it's actually set in a city. Either way, The Coldest Winter Ever is fun. It's a fun read. I'm enjoying it. There's a lot of brand name dropping and a lot of materialism, but also a lot of Winter getting checked on her bullshit, and a lot of Winter just being like still a badass though. Like I do admire her like boldness and her like, I'm gonna go get what I want, although she doesn't get everything that she wants. And right now I'm at the point where, what page is this? We are at page 88, 89, where Winter is in some shit and she's figuring her way around it, and she's just got her head on and she's working. That's the thing that makes Winter such a great character. She's so complex and it's hard, and you're kind of like, how does that make sense that she's still so smart but she's still so dumb? Because she's a complex character, because some parts, in some ways she's smart and she does things that you like, I can agree with that, I wish I was that smart. And then there are times when you're like, girl, I'm smarter than that, I know better than that, that's dumb, what are you doing? I'm going to read some more of this today, and I would suggest that other people read The Coldest Winter Ever because it is so good. It is so silly. I don't know how other people will take it, because there are things that I laughed about reading in this book that other people would probably like gasp and clutch their pearls and hold their chest and be like, what is this I'm reading? Whereas I'm just like laughing at it because I'm like, okay, some of this is, it's ridiculous, but it's also realistically ridiculous. This is fun, and I will be back to talk some more about how much more fun this book gets. I remember some of the other things that are going to come up, and they are a thing, girl. A thing. So this is my second progress report on reading The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Souljah. This book, it is a really interesting and very entertaining coming of age story. Like, I've heard people compare it to Catcher in the Rye, where they kind of learn about who they are and figure themselves out on this adventure. And it's an adventure that has them going through New York City. I'm enjoying this book, but I'm also kind of just like, WTF Winter. WTF. Because Winter is, I'm telling you, she's a fun protagonist to read. Winter is very, like, proactive, and she's always thinking about plans and figuring things out and trying to be ahead of the game. She's just very, very, like, I'm about to make things happen for me. But also, at the same time, she's stupid, because she does some really stupid things, like, and she gets distracted by materialism, and she's so smart but she's so dumb, because it's like, girl, you got money, and instead of you try to save this money, you like, oh, I'm gonna go get me an outfit. Like, why are you gonna get this outfit, girl? This is not the time for a cute outfit from Bloomingdale, sis. Like, you're wasting the money. You're wasting the money. like, and sometimes stuff happens that it's just like, and like people are giving you good advice, and you're just kind of like, I'm not gonna do that. But I also have to understand that Winter's like, what, 16, 17? Winter's like, she's a teenager, like everything's not fully formed and fully developed. She's being dumb, and she's not making righteous, smart decisions. So it's just like, girl, I'm clap your shoulders and shake you, because what are you doing? You're not doing it right. This is the wrong way to go about this. I think because of the time it's set in the 90s, and it is not as progressive as we are now, and it's not as enlightened and aware as we are now. Winter does say some things and does some things that are problematic. Winter is problematic. Winter has said some homophobic things, some anti-homosexual things, some very like, Winter's not a girl's girl. She does stuff against other girls and talks shit about other girls, and it's just like, yo, that's not cool. That's not cool. She also does things that you want to see in a protagonist that is a woman or that is a girl. Someone who's like thinking, who's using their brains and using their smarts and coming up with plans and ideas and just taking charge and being proactive and not just like settling for whatever, you know? And another thing about Sister Souljah, as a writer, I've kind of come to the understanding of who Sister Souljah is a little bit, that she is someone who has a very like high moralistic attitude. Although she wrote The Coldest Winter Ever, and this is all like very much in Winter's perspective, she is also kind of judging women who are like Winter, and that is kind of what the story is. It is although it's a coming of age story, it's also a cautionary tale, and Sister Souljah is kind of like, in a way, I feel, judging women who are like Winter. But that's my own kind of speculation. It is not necessarily the truth, but I'm still enjoying the book. I still enjoy the story, and I enjoy Sister Soldier's writing because it's very real and authentic, and it's so good to just read Black slang and just Black ways of speaking in this story. I am looking forward to finishing it and moving on to the other books in this like anthological series of books that Sister Souljah's written. I am done reading The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Souljah, and I am and what? And I had fun reading this. It was great revisiting it, like, and going through the story again. Like, there were things that I remembered from it, but because technically it's been like this 20 years since the book has been published, because I think it was published in 1999. I'm really about to look for this right now. Oh no, was it? Oh no, yeah, copyright 1999. It was like, I guess, first published, and then like the first pocketbook printing version of this in like 2001, but that's besides the point. The point is, I'm done reading it, and I am so glad I read it. This is one of my favorites because it was just so much, like, it was such a journey. It was like, I almost want to say there was drama, but it's not like Dynasty drama or Melrose Place drama or Beverly Hills 90210 drama. It's like, it's drama, you know, maybe a little bit more The Wire kind of drama, or like The Shy kind of drama. Shows like those, you know, it's just got those. Like, it's pretty much, it's kind of like that, but it's not really like that. Because I've realized something. I do not, like, even when I talk about a book, I don't like give a synopsis. I just start talking about it. Here's a synopsis for this book. This Winter Santiaga is born to a drug dealer named Ricky Santiaga. It's Ricky, right? It's Ricky Santiaga. And her bad bitch mother, damn it, I forgot what her bad bitch mother's name is. I don't even think Sister Souljah gave her name. Her mother's beautiful. Her daddy's like, what, I think Cuban, Puerto Rican. I don't know. They kind of alluded to what Winter's heritage is, but they didn't give like specifics. Like, from her last name and just kind of from who her father is, you kind of get the sense that Winter is Afro-Latina. It's not really made clear. She doesn't make it clear that, oh, I'm just this Latina girl. She's just like, I'm a Brooklyn girl who looks cute, and all these other bitches ain't as cute as me. They're not as pretty as me, and all this stuff. And Winter goes on an adventure, and I had fun on Winter's adventure. But the thing about Winter is, Winter's a very smart girl. She learned a lot of stuff from her very smart father, who built up this drug dealing empire. And I know it's drug dealing, whatever, but like Walter White ran a drug dealing empire. I mean, he's not a great person. He's not a great example, but at the same time, he did it. It's not a great business to run, but I admire their ability to run a business, period. That's where I'm at, you know. But that's the thing about Winter, too. That is the thing about Winter. I realized something. Like, her father is admirable because he's a smart man and he knows how to handle business and he knows how to, like, be strategic in his thinking, although he was not strategic enough. Winter, on the other hand, although she's not dealing drugs, she's a smart girl who's, like, figuring things out, but she's not using her smarts for the best things. Like, she's going for nefarious things like her father, like, because at the same time, I'm kind of just like, girl, like, she makes some decisions and you're looking at her like, that's not a good decision. This is not a wise decision, not at this point in your life and what you're going through and what you're dealing with. Like, save up your money, make this move, do this, like, no. But then she'll find another way to make money, and then you're like, oh my gosh, that's so smart. That's so, like, I wish I had the kind of common sense and smarts that you did. And then she does some dumb stuff, and it'd be like, okay, I'm not that dumb. What are you doing? What are you doing? This is dumb. But materialism, I almost want to say sex and boys are kind of like get in the way of what she wants and how smart she is, but not really, because for the most part, her driving motivation, she wants to have a man with lots of money who can just take care of her and who has a big dick. Well, big dick, I suppose. I don't know, just knows how to fucking eat her pussy. Like, that's the main things. She's just a spoiled, vain girl who thought she was like the shit and she was smarter than everybody else. One of the things that was the biggest thing for me with her was like with her best friend. She was like, she pulled up in a Benz, like she pulled up in her mother's Benz. And then she's saying like, oh, this is my Benz for my birthday. And you're just like, oh girl, you what? Lying. And then so her friend gets in the car with her, like, with her guy friend and hooked her up with, like, a double date and all that stuff. And then, like, in her head, before she even pulled up to the car, she was like, Natalie's gonna be so jealous of me because, you know, I'm gonna pull up in the Benz and she's gonna be jealous and I'm gonna just go see all the seething in her eyes and she's gonna be looking at me with jealousy in her eyes. And then it's like, you know, but 5 minutes after she gets in the car, she's gonna be cool again because, you know, I'm like, you know, I'm the like, like I'm the bomb. And Natalie's always gonna be pressed because she can only be friends with the greatness, but she can't be this great, you know? And then she talk about how cheap other girls' shoes are and how like basic other girls are. But she's like still friends with her. Like, she is one of the definitions of like a frenemy, where she's gonna be like, you know, she's cool with you, but in her head she's talking like cash shit about you. That's why you're broke, that's why you're poor, that's why you're whack. Because that's all, half the time when I read her, she was always like, oh my gosh, you poors, oh, you're also poor. And then I'm also looking at her like, but girl, you're also homeless though, so what are you talking about? Girl. Oh my gosh, girl, you are funny. And the way she says things too is so funny. Because sometimes she'll just be like, oh, this girl in her cheap shoes and her chipped nails, like, I could see right through her. She just cheap and she whack. And she just following my lead. Like, oh, those girls are so whack. And they're so dumb. And this bitch is so greasy. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, Winter is funny. Oh my gosh, she just makes me laugh. Like, she kind of aggravated me too. But she also made me laugh because I was just laughing at how, like, okay, this is really stupid, so this is hilarious. The way you said that was funny, though. I mean, you're wrong, but this is funny, though, how you said it. Like, I don't agree, but you're funny, though. You funny. You said that funny. You said that funny, like, and I was laughing. Sister Souljah, she may be a hotep because although this is a cautionary tale, I do kind of feel like the fact that this Soldier's in this book and giving a lot of advice and advisement to Winter and other characters in this book. Some of the stuff is a little bit respectability. I get what she's saying, where it's just like you can't just be like super over sexualized, I guess. But at the same time, it's also kind of like it felt like she's kind of condemning like black women for being like sexual if they wanted to be, like, and not allowing them the agency to be sexual. I don't know. At the end of the day, I just kind of felt like it was a little hotep-y. It was a little bit like, girl, be respectable. All you black people need to be respectable and get your lives together. And at the same time, it's like, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I'm kind of like, and from what I understand about who Souljah is, I kind of feel like she's a little hotep-y and she just kind of like very judging black people from the sidelines and saying like, oh, you black people, you're not doing it right. You black women aren't doing it right. You black men aren't doing it right. So that's why certain things like the homophobia and the misogyny kind of come through, because she's just feeling like, I'm judging all of y'all for who you are and what you're doing and all that stuff. And I'm just like, girl, I'm not completely with it. I also think Midnight is a hotep. As much as I kind of liked him before, I still kind of like him because he said a few really smart and interesting things in here. But at the same time, I'm also kind of like, some of that feels a little suspect. It's feeling a little too like, oh, you women need to get in line and you're oh so emotional. It's feeling a little misogynistic. I'm not here for it. I'm not completely feeling it. I'm not rocking with it. My dude, I'm just not. Like, I'm still looking forward to reading the Midnight trilogy, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I'm ready to just just jump in and be like, let's dissect what you're saying here, Midnight, because if I'm correct, you married 2 non-black women, and you say a lot of stuff about black women, and I'm just like, I'm not here for it. And your mama is black. So I don't know what, like, I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it. I'm just looking forward to reading them, but I'm still gonna be like, looking at Midnight with the side eye, like, he was a smart dude. He's a smart man, because he managed to be in the drug game and get out. Okay, he's a smart man. But he's also suspect on the hotep side. It was a great story. I enjoyed it a lot. And there have been talks about making this into a movie like for years since it came out. They've been talking about, people were speculating that, well, Jada Pinkett would play Winter, that Lil' Kim would play Winter. That's tell you how long they've been talking about like doing this movie. They talked about like Kyla Pratt doing the movie and being Winter, and I don't know. I would just love them now to make a movie, but I also feel like Souljah is the reason why the movie hasn't been made, or that they haven't been able to make it because Souljah is actually a part of the story. I feel like casting for Souljah is probably like part of the reason why. I think keeping Soljah's messages of making it this cautionary tale that is a little slut shamey. Honestly, I just feel like Souljah is probably like anybody who's brought the production or a script to her about making The Coldest Winter Ever into a movie have probably brought ideas to Souljah, and she was probably just looking at them like, no, I don't want you to do that with my story. I do not want you to do that with my story. So that's probably why it's never been made. Casting probably has to do with it. I don't know, just finding the right script, the right funding to make it. But I'm hoping that one day there will be a Coldest Winter Ever movie on Netflix, I don't know, in theaters or something. And I hope it's far better than that True to the Game movie that they did, because although I heard it's not that bad, I heard it's not really that great either. And it doesn't look that great, and I want this to have like big budget, like in theaters, like I want that kind of quality going into The Coldest Winter Ever as a movie. Like, I want this to be a movie one day. Like, I'm reading it and I could see it like the movie I could see this as a movie. Like, right up there with Paid in Full, or with like even better than Belly. I don't remember Belly, but I think Belly was great. You know, great cinematography. I definitely want this to have great cinematography, great script, great everything, great casting, great acting. I feel like Ryan Destiny should probably be in this. I don't know. I just want to see this as a movie.